Here's an interesting one. God says, who told you that you were naked? Okay. The Lord said to the serpent, because you have done this, you are cursed above all. Here's what happened. When we chose to listen to the enemy instead of God, our parents did, so whatever they did, we got to deal with. When we chose to do that, we gave him permission to give us thoughts, because God could already give us thoughts, and now we chose to listen to the enemy. Okay? He can't read our mind, but he can send us thoughts. And people call it evil inclination, you can call it the devil, you can call it whatever you want, but the reality is, once we gave the enemy permission to give us thoughts, you never see the serpent speaking verbally, having an external conversation with anybody anywhere else in the Hebrew Bible. Think about it. Doesn't happen. Now you see lots of people being messed up by him who are dealing with him, and obviously they are hearing him, but it's not an external conversation. In spite of this, that's actually what we see. We see just kind of chaos in men's lives, and we know that's the situation. We know that and actually what we see manifesting in people's lives is the result of a mental conversation going on inside where they're listening to something that's obviously not God. Okay? The problem is, when we hear that conversation, we have to stop and consider, where's it coming from? You ever have a thought where you're like, oh, that was kind of weird. I wonder why I thought that. And that was weird. Okay? I know we've all had those like, wow, that was strange. I don't know why I thought that. Okay? So we can't just let it go. We have to consider, where is it coming from? Is it a reliable source? Is it internal? Is it our own thought? Well, it sounds like it. And so because it sounds like our thought, we rarely stop to consider where it might have actually come from. Okay? That it might not even be our own thought. Sorry. I got mixed up there. In spite of this warning, where God tells him that, the very next verse, okay, see where I was. Because you've done this, you're cursed above everything. Adam's seeing this whole thing. Who told you were naked? It's like boom, 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 boom. And that's verse. And then the next thing we see is that what happens? The Lord speaking to Cain, he says, why are you angry? Why is your face falling? If you do well, will you not be accepted? And if you don't do well, sin is crouching at the door. And his desire is contrary to you, but you must rule over it. So what we see in this principle here is that we have moved from just a nice day in the garden to a battleground, an emotional, mental battleground, a spiritual battleground. And so yet in spite of this is what he said. You got to, look, Cain, don't run with these thoughts. It's contrary to you. Must take it captive. You got to deal with it. Okay? Look at the next verse. Where's the next verse? The next verse is wrong. Missing. I can tell you what. You know what happened in the next verse? You want to guess? In Genesis 4:8, Cain murders his brother. Based on what? Thoughts, jealousy, envy. Nothing had happened. The brother hadn't attacked him, hadn't done anything mean, nothing. They weren't in competition, just thoughts. Okay? And so that's what happens when we don't take those thoughts. Somebody's going to run today. Either we're going to rule over the thoughts or they're going to rule over us. And that's what it's talking about. God's saying you must rule over it. So we have to take those thoughts, capture them, and figure out where they came from. And figure out, is that something that we even want to consider? And is it from God? Amen?